service apartments as well. Again, going in ahead of the curve. So Delhi the airport that was being constructed was located in Delhi, but we believe that it would become the hub of travel and commerce for not just the Delhi region, but also for North India. And we have seen that the airport has become the 6th or the 7th largest airport in the world, and we are seeing the 4th runway actually open up. And no longer is it just NCR; it is North India. So that's where the location aspect comes in. Apart from the location, it's actually getting the right brand in as well. So for a large development in Bombay, we went with the Grand Hyatt brand. The Grand Hyatt brand is focused on convention. So a large development has to be broken down into various components. So if you actually see this would be the revenue mix at Grand Hyatt Bombay. 45% of our revenue comes from rooms, about 12% comes from service apartments, 30% from F&B, and 5% from lease rentals. Just to give you a flavor, so F&B gets divided into venues and banqueting. 60% of the F&B revenue comes from banqueting, which is a high growth area that we see going forward. So it starts with the right location, the right size, and the right brand, which comes together in a strong development, which is actually resulting in the appreciation of capital going forward. So continuing, so the third strength, so apart from development, our other strength is asset management. We define asset management as working with the operating team to increasing their operating efficiencies. At 43%, 44% EBITDA levels, we are the most profitable or one of the most profitable hotel companies in the country. And we're able to do this through our active asset management. What is active asset management and what do we do? So within the Hyatt ecosystem, because we have the large scale and multiple hotels with Hyatt, we've been able to create clusters within the various hotels. So what do these clusters do? We're able to streamline operating activities. So the finance cluster, before the cluster was there, we had almost 70 people across various hotels in the finance department. By creating the cluster, we would be able to reduce this down from 70 to almost 42 individuals. So the cost was definitely one aspect, but also standardize the processes. Certain things, accounts payables, receivables, all were moved to a centralized location, bringing in better efficiency. The same goes for procurement. Again, procuring at a group level allowed us to bring in a lot of synergies as well, reducing cost. The China House restaurant operates in Bombay, in Ahmedabad, in Lucknow. So why procure the same produce for the same menu in multiple locations? Again, synergies coming in because of scale. So this is the active asset management that we do. And we have a dedicated team under the leadership of Mr. Memon that actually does this. Again, active asset management allows us to rationalize costs across the base. So two of the major costs in hospitality is heat, light, power, and the manning cost. Through our asset management team and keeping a constant check on the operations and working with them jointly, we've been able to rationalize our manning. I'm confident that we would be one of the top 3 in terms of rooms to man ratio across the industry. And same goes for HLP. The square foot, the unit consumption per square foot would also be towards the lower end of the segment. So these are the 2 strengths that we have, development and asset management, which results in where we are. If you want to take the growth side.
Sure. So what's the pathway going forward? With 1,900 keys today, we are one of the top players in the hospitality space. As a growth strategy, there are 3 broad legs to that. And one of them is basically enhancing our current assets, the portfolio that we own, and enhancing these assets. They revolve around refurbishment of Grand Hyatt in Delhi. So we are currently undertaking a refurbishment of the entire room inventory in Mumbai and also the common areas in Delhi. That would help do a catch-up with respect to the comp set for us. The second important project that we are undertaking is we are creating a very high-end MICE facility, a ballroom in Grand Hyatt. That's roughly 49,000 square feet new ballroom that will start contributing by the middle of this fiscal year. So that would be the second revenue kicker from an enhancement standpoint at Grand Hyatt itself. Third important project, which Varun spoke about already, is that we are intending to create 317 more rooms on top of Grand Hyatt. That's fully approved. and that would make Grand Hyatt as a 1,000-key asset, the largest hotel in India possibly. And that is one of the key strengths for the company. And if you were to compare it with any other comp set, possibly it would take the company's 10 odd hotels to equal what one asset like Grand Hyatt would be. So that's one important facet of our growth on the existing enhancements. And also we are looking at increasing our F&B contribution, adding more F&B space in Delhi. So this is something that is what we are already undertaking as we speak. These are all internally funded. This would not look at more debt coming onto the balance sheet. These are fairly funded from internal accruals and cash flows. The second important asset that the company owns, and that's a latent opportunity, is that the company owns 4 freehold parcels of land. Largest being a 2.5 acre land parcel, totally freehold, owned by Juniper, next to Grand Hyatt. There is another land parcel which is behind Grand Hyatt. So there are these 2 land parcels which are in Mumbai, and then 2 came in through the amalgamation of Chartered last year. So that's one very, very attractive land parcel in Guwahati and a small land parcel in Trivandrum. Right now, we are not building any kind of plans or developmental potential over the next 2 years coming in from these land parcels. They remain valuable piece of land, totally freehold, and a potential growth opportunity going forward. The third and the more attractive strategy, which will keep the management busy over the next 2 years, is the acquisitions and inorganic route. And the company today, we've stated our intent very clearly in the GRHP and the RHP that there is a ROFO that the Saraf family basically has given to Juniper, and the intent is that if there are any assets which are currently owned by the Saraf family sitting outside Juniper, they will come into Juniper, and Juniper will become the flagship of the Saraf family in India. So this is one clearly stated intent, and that would include the current assets that are owned by the family and possibly the other one that would be in the process of acquisition. From the focus area, we would focus our energies into large block assets which are fairly operating or near operations. They are operating revenue generating assets in Mumbai and large metros. We would not look at assets in tier 3, tier 4 cities. We are a large block company looking at metros, and that's what the thoughts would remain going forward. So what does it mean from the financial standpoint? In FY23, and this is Juniper standalone, we had 717 crores of gross turnover, and we had 322 crores of EBITDA. At 45% EBITDA margin, we are the top tier in the Indian hospitality space. We are the marquee company as far as the Indian hospitality space is concerned. This does not include the Chartered contribution because Chartered came into Juniper in September of 23. If you were to look at Chartered is 104 crores of turnover, 3 assets, 430 keys, and roughly around 38 to 39 crores of EBITDA. So that is on top of what I'm just stating right now. That would come in already, it's already as part of Juniper. If you look at a consolidated FY24 picture, that would include these contributions of Chartered in the current fiscal year. We continue our growth momentum. We are continuing to see fairly robust growth in the ARRs and also the occupancy. And if you look at the industry reports which are out there, and I could quote Howard, the demand-supply equilibrium, roughly 90% of my key count is in luxury and upper upscale segments. This is what Mr. Saraf said in his initial speech. And if you look at the least amount of capacity accretion is happening in the upper upscale and luxury segments in India. And 70% plus of my key count is in Delhi and Mumbai. And if you look at just the industry reports, the demand in these segments are going to grow between 11 to 12% in Delhi and Mumbai over the next 3 to 4 years. And this is again what I'm quoting industry reports. While the capacity accretion in Delhi and Mumbai would be at a CAGR of roughly around 4 to 7%. So these two cities will continue to see demand favoring the asset owners and developers, and that is what would continue to benefit us going forward as we grow in the journey to grow our revenues and margins. What is our plan from the IPO? It's an 1800 crore IPO, and it's full growth capital. There is not even one share that has been sold by the existing promoters. And we have 2,000 crores of debt on the balance sheet. We intend to pay down 1,500 crores of the debt on the balance sheet, post which our gearing would become extremely efficient. It would lead to a significant saving in our interest cost. Last year, my average interest cost was 10.9%. So this would lead a 1,500 crore pay down would significantly improve my cash flow and free cash generation going forward. And there is a 300 crores of GCP, which would be deployed in the inorganic acquisitions that we're already working on as a team. We intend to continue to grow our revenue significantly and improve our ROC profile going forward and become a PAT positive company as we embark post IPO. Thank you.